Water Disney podcast. I'm here with my very lovely mother sitting across from me on the table.
Hi there, I'm Jeanette.
And today we're going to do our next deep dive into one of Epcot's pavilions. So today we're going to do the Morocco Pavilion, which is I planned this specifically. So today when this podcast episode comes out, it's September 4th. And September 3rd, so the day before this podcast episode is coming out, is my cat Morocco's Gakchu Day. And Morocco is indeed named after the Moroccan Pavilion in Epcot. I know that sounds strange because Morocco is a real country, obviously, that we're going to deep dive into today. But the truth is, I would not have picked the country Morocco if it was not a part of the World Showcase in Epcot. So I always say she is named after the Moroccan Pavilion. And again, that we have been together now for 4 years, me and my little kitty girl. So she's 4 years old. I adopted her when she was 3 months old. But yeah, so happy Gakchu Day to my little kitty girl. And today we're going to do a deep dive into the Moroccan Pavilion. Morocco is one of my favorite pavilions of the 11 World Showcase pavilions. I think it's so detailed, it's so in-depth. So let's dive into it.
Very pretty.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so this pavilion was the first expansion of all the pavilions, and it opened on September 7th, 1984. So it's not one of the OG pavilions. Again, there was 9 OG, and then 2 more were added. Morocco was the first one that got added on September 7th. King Hassan II actually sent Moroccan artists and designers to help create all of the mosaics and the design of the pavilion itself. However, due to Islamic religious beliefs of the content of art, the mosaics contain no representations of people, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, okay.
I never thought about that. As someone, I am not Islamic myself. You
don't even notice that it doesn't have the depiction. Because everything else is so intricate and beautiful. You don't even think about it.
Yeah, because I'm not as familiar with the religion, I never would have thought about that either. So the pavilion itself represents 3 main cities in Morocco, including Casablanca, Fez, and Marrakesh. All right, so the sponsorship of the pavilion. So the Moroccan government sponsored the pavilion when it first opened up until October 21st, 2020, and then that is when Disney took ownership over the pavilion. I'm going to read this next part word from word. I have all my links and all my sources in the description below. So if you want to check out those links, make sure you check those out. But in April 2020, the Marrakesh Moroccan Restaurant LLC filed for a PPP loan of $1 to $2 million in order to retain 260 jobs through of those funds required. Again, remember, this is during COVID. So in September of that year, in 2020, Walt Disney World then filed a UCC financing statement, or a type of lien with the state, claiming collateral against, in quotes, all goods, inventory, the furnishings, and all other items of personal property belonging to the debtor, which may or may not be put into the facilities, and all the proceeds of the foregoing. So with Walt Disney World poised to take over the pavilion in case of default or bankruptcy, as things are going downhill pretty quickly, Walt Disney eventually ended up taking over the pavilion itself. So again, during that, essentially what all of that is saying in like legalese terms is that the company who owned, like the government, the company who owned the Moroccan Pavilion, because of COVID, likely were basically faulting on the money because, there's no one going to the parks. They lost all the money. Again, because they owned that pavilion, all the money they were making on the pavilion, they were making their own profit from it without people coming to the parks, of course. They lost a lot of money. And so because Disney didn't want that section of the park to go into the bankruptcy, they ended up taking over that part of the park. So Disney took over the pavilion entirely. Now, the Moroccan Embassy and the Moroccan Tourism Board are continued to work with Disney as more of like cultural consultants, but they no longer have any ownership. And Morocco was one of the few pavilions that was completely and independently operated as a showcase pavilion up until 2020, where now Disney completely operates it in itself. So very interesting kind of what happened there, because
I didn't realize that's why they gave it up.
Yeah, I kind of knew. I feel like I've also heard rumors. I didn't find any information of this necessarily online, that I think the people, like the actual individuals who were, in Morocco and in Disney, I think had disagreements on what was going on, probably about the money is what I'm assuming, like financial disagreements.
That's always a reason.
Yeah, so that is another reason why they decided to part ways. So it does make sense though. However, if you remember, or if you were not in the parks when they first opened after Epcot, Morocco was probably the last pavilion to kind of bounce back. Like for instance, all of the gift shops were closed. There was just nothing, like absolutely nothing. Even the restaurants basically had nothing.
There was nothing.
And that was because Disney did not have the imports set up yet with Morocco to import like, the authentic leathers and the bags and the rugs and the clothing from Morocco yet. Right. Yeah, so they didn't have anything to do that, whereas the other pavilions that Disney owned and operated had all those imports set up already. So when they reopened, they were able to reopen up those imports, whereas with Morocco, they had to set up everything entirely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, importing internationally takes a long time. You need permits, you need certain things. There's a lot of taxes involved. So now Morocco is operating again under a much more seamless, like if you go there, there's stuff to buy, there's restaurants, there's food to eat.
Right, they opened up the little gift shops across the way by the lake. Sure. Like I said, the only thing that hasn't reopened is the big restaurant.
Yes, Marrakesh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's interesting to think about, because again, I hadn't really thought about that myself when Morocco reopened. Like I knew, I just thought, I was like, oh, all the pavilions are experiencing import problems because of COVID.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, apparently Morocco was experiencing some of the worst.
Right.
Also, that would have been wild if Morocco was the only pavilion to go bankrupt out of all 11. Can you imagine the headlines of there? One pavilion out of all of them has gone bankrupt.
Locks on all the doors.
Yeah, like how does that even work? work. So, and I imagine too, Disney probably has lost a lot of money in that deal as well. They probably had to pay a lot of money in order to take ownership over it. So just kind of interesting in that sense. But again, Morocco is still involved with the pavilion. They just no longer own and operate the pavilion. So, all right. So on to some of the landmarks in here. I'm going to apologize for all of my pronunciations. I do not speak Moroccan myself. Again, I don't speak any other languages. If any other language, I speak a little bit of Italian, but not even that much Italian. Sorry. So that so when you walk up to the pavilion, you kind of see this main large tower kind of there, the main prayer tower. That is based off the Koutoubia minaret of Marrakesh, and it is a prayer tower of the 12th century mosque. The real mosque in Marrakesh in Morocco is 77 meters tall or 253 in height. It can be seen from like 30 miles away. It's one of the tallest structures in that area. Remember, this is like a desert, so it's pretty flat, so you can see it from pretty far away. It was first built in 1147 and then rebuilt in 1158 under a new ruler. So the real mosque in Marrakesh, again, 1158, is currently 2023 as of recording. That's how old is that mosque there, which is amazing to think about. It is decorated with varying geometric art motifs and topped with a spire and metal orbs. And it is a classic and an important example of Almohad architecture and of architecture in a very general sense in Morocco. All right, so once we you move into the pavilion, there's kind of that little square. There's this lovely, beautiful fountain that's in the middle. It's very picturesque, if I'm saying. And then right behind the fountain, there's this big arch. The arch is called the Bab Bajajould. So sorry. It is an ornate city gate in Fez, the city of Fez, to Fez El Bali, which is the old city of Fez in Morocco. The current gate, the real one, was built by the French colonial administration in 1913 to serve as a grand entrance into the old city of Fez. And then once you go inside of that gate, both in real life and also in the pavilion, there is a bazaar type atmosphere. A bazaar is kind of like a market type atmosphere with lots of traditional Moroccan goods on display for sale. So I love how they actually did that when you walk into the old city of Fez, it's the same thing. Feeling. You're walking into like it's called a bazaar, but a market type feel. Right. Obviously, Epcot's going to be much smaller, but
like every other pavilion.
Yep. All right. So again, once you also walk in, or once you're kind of staying in the pavilion, to the left is the Fez house. The Fez house actually has a little sign on it. It's an accurate representation of a traditional Moroccan home. And when you walk in, you may smell sandalwood and spice. It is covered in beautiful mosaic tile. Colored glass lanterns are hanging from the ceiling. And while the house is technically 2 stories tall, we as guests can actually only enter the first floor area. I have looked before. You cannot go up to the second floor area.
You can look up and see.
Yeah, I have wanted to.
Second floor.
There are benches in all 4 corners of the room, and while it's not technically air conditioned, this room, because of all the tiling and because there isn't really direct sunlight. There's some direct sunlight. It can be quite cool in that area because of the tiling. There's also a faux fountain in the back, where in a traditional home that would be a working fountain. And there have been rumors, and I say rumors, I've heard people positively saying this and other people saying rumors. The guests say if you're sitting in the Fez house during quiet hours, you can hear murmuring and conversations. And apparently it's a detail that Disney's added in, because it's as if the family who really lives there is just upstairs, just out of sight, just in their home hanging out.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Cool.
So I think that's really cool. I've never really been there and sat there for a long period of time.
We've never been there when it's been quiet enough, I don't think.
Yeah, so some people thought at first they were just hearing things, they're in there. It's like, oh, I'm just hearing sounds. Like, you're in Disney World, there's lots of sounds. And other people have confirmed saying that it's like, no, it's, an actual audio track of like murmurings and conversations as if the family's in their home, just upstairs out of sight. Also a very lovely wedding spot. I would say there is one of the spots you can pick to get married in, take photos in. I would recommend it because I think it's so beautiful. And of course, again, I literally named my cat after this pavilion. So I love Morocco so much. All right, so for some of the shopping, there are a lot of shops in this pavilion itself. They all have different names. Again, they're all kind of in that bazaar type of area. So we have Tangier Trades. They sell jewelry, Moroccan clothing and shoes, mirrors made from camel bones, and daggers. There's the Brass Bazaar, which is where they sell like mosaic fountains and brass silver plates and mirrors. You can also get the little Aladdin lamp type thing. There's Casablanca Carpets, where they have decorative throw pillows, prayer rugs, ceramic plates, and lanterns. This is Souk Al Maghreb, which sells belly dancing, how-tos, couscous, other cooking utensils, and kind of like foodie type items, fez hats, and rose water. And I realize now I have to go to Morocco and get a mini fez hat for my cat, because when we were in the Mexico pavilion, I got her a little mini sombrero.
Do they sell little mini fez hats?
They have to. I imagine they have to.
I don't know. I remember seeing them.
The last time we were there, well, they used to have them, I think, back in the day. I think now with the imports opening
back up. I know they saw the big
ones.
I don't remember seeing the little ones.
They have to have a little fez hat. I have to get my cat a little fez hat. She looks so cute. I did jam that sombrero on her head. She was a taco last year for Halloween, so she was a taco with a little sombrero. I know that's very stereotypical Mexico, but just roll with it. She's a cat, so right. But she looks so cute in that little sombrero. Not that the sombrero was made for cats; it was just made for like a decorative sombrero.
It's just like a little but
I mean,
memento.
like, it was perfect cat size though for her little head. All right. And there are 2 stores that are no longer open in Morocco. So there was an outdoor bazaar that was an extension of the brass bazaar that sold items of like decorative ceramic tiles and vases. And there's also the Medina Arts, which again was more ceramics and baskets. However, now that area has reopened. However, they don't sell the extension of the brass bazaar. I would say now they sell more of like Moroccan Disney inspired items. So for instance, they have a really cool collection of Jasmine items there. So Jasmine shirts, Jasmine like bags, things like that, things to do with Jasmine and the Aladdin movie in itself, as well as things for like the Moroccan Pavilion. So you can get things that says like Disney's Moroccan Pavilion, like with Mickey on it, or like a Mickey pin or something like that. So again, it's still Moroccan themed items, but more of like the Disney Moroccan themed items.
Yeah, they did add the Disney. Once Disney took over, they did add those Disney
rather than just all of the authentic Moroccan items, which you can still purchase, of course. Again, that's just going to be inside the pavilion itself. So you can still get all the beautiful leather bags and the clothing. We always see some of that clothing. I'm always so tempted, especially with some of the shoes. They look so cute.
They are cute. Some of their bags last time, their leather bags were beautiful too, that they had cotton in. Some of their leather shoulder bags were beautiful.
Yeah, so absolutely love that so much though. All right, so for entertainment. So the main entertainment in Morocco is the Gallery of Arts and History Museum that's located inside the Moroccan Pavilion in the Ville Nouvelle or New City. However, these exhibits change out periodically. So the current exhibit is the Race Against the Sun. We have not seen this exhibit with our own eyeballs yet, but I really want to go see the Race Against the Sun, ancient technique to modern competition.
I didn't even know they had one of those museums there.
Yeah, I knew it was there, but we just never really walked into that area, if I'm being honest. So, and I think it was closed the last.
I was going to say, I thought it was closed because we did the whole.
Because it only opened right before COVID in 2019, so it only opened a little bit before we got there. Then it was closed for a while after even the pavilion reopened, but now it's officially reopened, and you can
we'll
go
have
see
to do that.
exhibit.
I've not realized that they had that. Okay.
So the Race Against the Sun exhibit focuses on the Marathon of the Sands, which is a 6-day, 250-kilometer ultra run across the desert.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy? And I am a long distance runner, which is why to me this exhibit does kind of interest my own personal interest.
That's a long distance.
So on display is the race gear and trophies that Moroccan competitors and other world competitors have done. There's also a slideshow about the landscape and the people of Morocco inside the gallery. And again, if you're interested, you can also book a free 45-minute Treasures of Morocco tour to really immerse yourself in the culture as well. And there's also a section 2 called Culture of the Desert, which is a section dedicated to the Berbers, who were the original inhabitants of the desert, and kind of how they survived. So the clothing that they would wear, the ways that they would obtain water. So it's very interesting. So here too, I'm just going to read a little bit from one of the plaques inside of the Race Against the Sun thing for the nutrition. So I'm going to move my mic closer it's very small. All right, so for nutrition, runners must begin the race carrying a minimum of 14,000 calories to last 6 days. While prepackaged energy bars are the norm, many Moroccan runners, like 2-time female champion Toad Didi, packed calorie-dense food like selku, a treat typically associated with Ramadan, a Muslim holiday observed in the month of daytime fasting. These bite-sized cakes pack in calories and nutrients with toasted, unhullied sesame seeds, fried almonds, sugar, and spices. Pushing the human body to its physical limits in an environment as challenging as the Sahara Desert requires training, discipline, and a lot of fuel. It also says here too that runners averagely drink 12 liters of water per day, rationed out in increments.
Oh wow!
And there's special checkpoints along the way to check their health. Runners typically will consume, over a course of 6 days, 120,000 liters of water, which is enough to fill a swimming pool the size of a semi-trailer, which is crazy.
Oh my god!
I know, right? So this is one of those crazy ultra runs. I'm not an ultra runner.
That's dedication.
I know. I'm just a marathon runner. I don't do ultra runs. So a marathon is 26.2 miles. So again, you're running, what did I say before? Like 26.2 miles is about 40 kilometers. So they are running 250 kilometers. So literally like so much more over the course of so many days. Of course, a tough landscape. You're literally in the Sahara
Let's take that landscape,
desert.
the heat, the sand, the dryness. Yeah, let's put it all in there.
I know, right? So crazy though. But yeah, that's the main, I say main entertainment, so to speak. But the main thing you can kind of go do and see.
Yeah, we have to do that because I think that sounds interesting.
Yeah, there's no other rides or shows. They did, so there were some former entertainments. So up until September 30th, 2015, they used to have the Moroccan, which is a rock and roll music set to Arabian rhythms. However, during the festivals, they do still use that stage where certain artists will come out and perform kind of Moroccan themed music.
We passed last time they had people performing,
but
and every once in a while the belly dancer comes out also.
Yeah, so it's not set like how Moroccan was like a thing. This is like for the festival, so you really only see it during festival times. There also used to be the Minette Bouriat, which was a Moroccan musical dance act, and that stopped during COVID in 2020. There was also a storyteller Tarji, which shares the customs surrounding the Moroccan celebration of Ramadan and and ashuri. And it says this is seasonal to Christmas, so I wonder again during Christmas time if this will come back.
Oh yes, all the countries have their
their version of Santa, so to speak. So so that's what theirs is.
We may see that in December.
Yep, and they also do have a meet and greet with Aladdin and Jasmine here. So there is a formal meet and greet area where you can meet these two characters, both Aladdin and Jasmine, sometimes together, sometimes separate. So you just have to make sure you check that out. So all right, I guess I didn't go over the details of the actual the rock that's there too, but yeah, all the coloring, the painting, the way you walk through the pavilion in itself. Again, the King of Morocco sent his own advisors over to help create this pavilion.
It is authentic.
Yeah, and they did theme a lot of these things to areas of the different areas of Marrakesh, and that's going to be even more so now when we get into dining. The main restaurant that's currently here is Spice Road Table. This is a Mediterranean restaurant that's along the World Showcase Lagoon, and it is inspired by the outdoor cafes along Morocco's seaside. You do need a reservation for this restaurant, and again, his advisors did come over, and if you look at the details of the Moroccan tiling that's there, of the way that the restaurant actually sits along the water, is supposed to be quite authentic if you go to the Moroccan seaside. I have not been to Morocco. I would love to go to Morocco, but I can't wait to go to Morocco and see a little seaside restaurant and be like, that's Spice Road Table, Yes. All right, they also have Tangerine Cafe, which is their quick service restaurant. They serve things like hummus, salads, chicken, other little desserts as well, and they also have coffee, teas, things like that. And it's sort of served in a cafeteria type style, you can sit in there sort of like a cafeteria, and there is some outdoor seating as well. And they also have Oasis Sweets and Sips, which is also along the lagoon, and this is where me and my mom actually got an almond crescent cookie there, and that's actually on the list.
We also had stuff at the Tangerine Cafe too.
Yep, I had things there as well. Yeah, and they also have exotic drinks. They say exotic drinks. A frozen cocktail and sangria is also sold here as well, but all the other fun cocktails. And of course, during all of the pavilion, all of the festivals, during the Flower Garden Festival, Food and Wine Festival, they have their own booth for Morocco that will sell even more Moroccan foods and have special things just for the festivals. And closed, as my mom said before, the Marrakesh was a restaurant that was all the way in the back of the pavilion. It also served a menu of Moroccan and other Arabian dishes for both lunch and dinner. It has been closed since COVID and has not reopened. There's been no word on if it's going to be reopened or not. There has been rumors that Disney has a permit to do construction in that area, so I wonder if they're going to do something in that area.
It's a wasted space at this point. They would probably be better opening up some kind
either
of
open
Mediterranean
it as a restaurant, or if they open it maybe as another quick service, they could open it, maybe do a show back there or something. I'm not really sure. They could do a whole...
I'd say a nice Mediterranean restaurant would probably be their deal to go.
Well, I guess the thing is though, because they already have Spice Road Table, so would they have two restaurants? I mean, they could. Italy has two restaurants, sit-down restaurants,
it's true.
Yeah, Italy does, the Mexico Pavilion does, so other pavilions do have two fully sit-down restaurants. Japan
that restaurant,
too.
when it was open, actually had entertainment too.
They had the belly
ate
dancers,
there once. They had the belly dancer that used to come out and do the show and stuff. But that is it's a big space, so you would think that they would want to make use of it.
And I think it would be sad if they just took it down because, again, going back, the king's own advisors, they hand-tiled this restaurant apparently and really made it quite authentic to a fancy restaurant that you'd see in Marrakesh. Right. So I hope I can't imagine Disney would take away the authenticity of it. I just wonder how they would rebrand the space. Or maybe they're just going to open up as the restaurant again. They're just, getting ready. Maybe they're just polishing off the tile or something like that. I mean, I guess we'll see. Oh, so inside of the little market area, there's also now they have more seating inside of that area, and that's also where the Kid Cot area is too. So again, in that market, once you kind of go fully into the pavilion underneath the arch, you kind of go inside a little bit too, actually. But yeah, there's more seating, and there is the Kid Cot area too.
And over there was a little bar that was serving drinks.
Yeah, they just recently added a little area.
They just added a little bar where you could go up and get a drink.
Yep, but yeah, that's the last dining. So a lot of dining options actually in this pavilion that I didn't even think about. So so one last little fun fact is that the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Disney's Hollywood Studios can be seen at an angle from the Moroccan Pavilion.
Oh, really?
So for instance, if you are standing across the World Showcase and you look out into the World Showcase, you will see the Moroccan Pavilion. And in the far distance, you can see the top of Tower of Terror.
Oh, cool.
Now, the Disney Imagineers knew this. And because they knew this, they make sure to make the back of the Tower of Terror look to blend in with the Moroccan Pavilion so that it all seamlessly blends in with each other, which I think is really great.
Attention to detail.
Yep.
So I give Disney credit for every time. Attention to detail.
And that's what it says here too. Yeah, the top of the tower is designed so it blends in with Moroccan architecture. So again, kind of all going back to what the king, what was his name? King Hassan II all did. Yeah, that was kind of our little deep dive. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of information. I will admit I did have to rush this one a little bit. I didn't have as much time to deep dive into everything as I normally do for our pavilions. But there's still a lot there, I feel like. So still a lot of interesting items about the Moroccan Pavilion that I didn't know about before though.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of that. And like I said, it's always so interesting because when you walk through, it does feel so authentic when you see all that tile work and you see everything that they have. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Yeah, I've never been to Northern Africa before. So I mean, one day would love to go to Africa in general, but would love to see Morocco too in Africa. So especially too that Africa has a lot of the same feel, the northern part of Africa has a lot of the same feels and vibes as the Middle East. So it's like very like much Middle Eastern, Northern African culture, which is really great to have along.
Well, that's why I think there are so many. If they open that restaurant up again, I think they would get a big following. And I remember that restaurant being the food was a lot heavier than what's at Spice Road Table right now.
Yeah.
So I think they could do it in the fact that Spice Road Table's dishes seem to be lighter than when we went to that restaurant. So I think if they did that, they could really supplement, and I think they would do a really good business. And I think whatever they opened it up as, they would get a lot of people, coming and going.
No, love the Moroccan Pavilion. Love going there. Love being there. Great photo ops too.
Right.
And that beautiful fountain in the front. I love that fountain so much. Again, my cat is literally named after this pavilion. My cat Morocco. She's a little tortoiseshell. So, all right, that is all we have for the Moroccan Pavilion. So now we'll transition into some Disney news. So as we are at the beginning of the month, we are going to go over what's new on Disney Plus. I didn't forget this month like I did in July. So I've broken this down again into different sections of items rather than going chronologically of what's coming out in order. So for our big releases, first we have the new Ahsoka TV show, the Star Wars TV show Ahsoka. There's been weekly episodes every week, so make sure you keep keeping up with Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka Tano. She's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So absolutely loving this show right now. The Little Mermaid is coming to Disney Plus on September 6th. This is the only one I'm mentioning the date because it's coming out in a few days. So if you saw Little Mermaid in theaters a few months ago, is now coming to Disney Plus. I do feel like it is pretty quick. I feel like back in the day, you used to wait like a year or 2 years for it to come to streaming or something.
Quick.
But yeah, now everything's coming quick. But so excited for it to come though, because I do love The Little Mermaid. I Am Groot season 2 is coming out this month, and also Lang Lang Plays Disney, which is an exclusive one-night concert at the Royal Albert Hall. It is an arrangement of popular Disney songs by the world-renowned pianist Lang Lang. So I'm actually kind of excited for that too, because I love piano editions of songs, and again, to hear it from like such a famous pianist, so it's going to be so cool. Also, I Am Groot season 2, I'm sure it'll be great. I did not watch I Am Groot season 1, so can't speak too much to that show, but I know a lot of people are looking forward to that if you're a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. All right, so for cartoons, I only have one item in this section. We have Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir season 5, which is crazy because if I'm being honest, have not heard of this show before. It looks like it's 2 high school superheroes capturing Akumas. I don't really know what that is. I'm sure that's something in the show itself, and they don't know each other's identity. All right, so for some Disney shows, this is all for the most part kind of like Marvel TV shows. We have the Marvel Studios Assemble, the making of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so kind of behind the look scenes of how they made the movie. We have Raven's Home season 6, which is the new show after That's So Raven, so kind of Raven and Chelsea all grown up taking care of the kids type of thing. We have Master and Apprentice, a special look at Ahsoka, which is going to be behind the scenes look at how they created the TV show Ahsoka. Marvel Studios Assemble, the making of Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was a Marvel TV show that came out a few months ago now, and again, behind the scenes look of how they made this. Basically making a second show for every single TV show they made of how they made the show, which is kind of funny. And because they also have Marvel Studio Legends, a deeper dive into the behind of the lore of Loki, which is another the Loki TV show. Loki is a good TV show though. I do like that one. And then we also have Disney's Launchpad season 2, which is a short film collection featuring 6 Disney short films. All right, in National Geographic, so some other new things coming out for National Geographic. We have 9/11 One Day in America season 1, which will be 6 episodes doing a deep dive kind of into that day of 9/11. We also have the 2000s Greatest Tragedies, which is a special documentary going over very interesting, the greatest tragedies of the 2000s. I wonder what they're going to consider the greatest tragedies of the 2000s, but I guess we'll see. As this is the beginning of September, there are a lot of 9/11 documentaries coming out. So the next one is Bin Laden's Hard Drive, which is also another special documentary about the day that he was killed. And there's also a special, again, this is the last 9/11 one, the George W. Bush, the 9/11 interview, which is an exclusive interview with former President George W. Bush as he recounts the day's events from himself. Also from National Geographic, some more animal related things. We have Animals Up Close with Birdie Gregory, which is going to be focusing on animals all over the world from Antarctica to Africa to South America. The last National Geographic show coming out is called To Catch a Smuggler season 5, and this is about dogs working in airports. So quite specific. It looks like this season is going to focus on JFK Airport. So kind of a fun show. I've never seen any of the previous To Catch Smugglers.
Probably amazing what they find.
All right, and then in Disney Junior, we have Doc McStuffins, the Doc and Bella are in. This looks like it's going to be a short series about a child who dreams of being a toy doctor, so she opens up a clinic in her home as a doctor for her toys. It looks very cute, if I'm being honest. Also for Disney Junior, we have Marvel's Spidey and His Amazing Friends season 2, The Ghost and Molly McGee season 2, PJ Masks and Power Heroes season 1, and Pupstruction season 1. So lots of fun little Disney Junior shows coming out. And also Disney has been releasing a lot of old time cartoons, like their cartoons from the 1920s, 1930s, and 1940s. So we have lots more of those cartoons coming. So first we have 2 more Oswald the Rabbit cartoons, All Wet and Charlie Troubles. We have Bone Trouble, which is going to be a Pluto-based one. Mer Babies, which is kind of funny. It's literally like mermaid babies, which is so cute. Don't know what it's going to be about though. I haven't seen any of these old time cartoons. Pavilions, Mickey's Kangaroo, Playful Pluto, Pluto Jr., and The Barn Dance. And if you may be wondering why 3 different Pluto old-timey cartoons are coming out, we can now transition into some Disney birthdays. That is because Pluto's birthday is September 5th.
Okay.
So lots of cartoons coming out just in time
Just
for
to
Pluto's
honor
birthday.
Pluto.
Yep, on September 5th. So if you want to celebrate Pluto, make sure you check out those old-time cartoons Pluto first featured in. So fun. Yeah, but that is all we have for Disney news, just to focus a little bit on just what's coming to Disney Plus. So what are you looking forward to the most, Mom?
Oh, I don't know.
I guess The Little Mermaid, we can
Probably
rewatch
that's
Little
about the
Mermaid.
only thing. Oh, and the National Geographic, but some of the National Geographic stuff I like, but definitely Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. I'm a huge Star
I thought
Wars
they did a
fan.
great job on that movie, so I'd like to see
Oh
it
yeah,
again.
no. We have a whole podcast episode too on that one.
Yes,
So if you
I
didn't get to
think-
go see it in theaters, make sure you watch it when it comes out.
Yes.
And you think we're sponsored? Obviously, this is not a
No,
sponsored
it's not a
podcast at all.
podcast.
But make sure you
But
check
no,
out.
I'm looking
Little
forward to
Mermaid.
seeing that again because I really enjoyed it when I saw it in the movies.
I know, right? And so then listen to our podcast, a whole deep dive podcast. That one was very much a comparative podcast where we compared the new movie to the original cartoon movie and kind of pointing out the differences. And now I've actually forgotten a lot of the differences, so I'll probably just go into the movie and watch it funsies. But that transitions into our last segment, which is our Disney memory. So do you have a Disney memory for this week's podcast?
Well, the Disney memory is only every time we pass Morocco, they have what we forgot to mention is they do henna tattoos there.
Oh, they do. I can't believe I forgot the henna tattoos.
I forgot all about it till I just realized my
Yeah.
memory is henna tattoos, and every time we
That
pass
didn't
it,
come up on any of the websites I researched for this.
I always go by and say, "Oh, I wish I had the time and the energy to sit there and get a henna tattoo. It would be really fun."
And
to
every
get
time
one.
we say next time we're gonna do
Next
it,
time
we're
I'm
gonna
gonna go get my henna tattoo.
I think we should though. That's gonna be in the bazaar again. Like once you go through the gate, you're really in the pavilion. They have
Yeah.
the henna tattoos. Sometimes location does change. So just
Yeah,
keep
they
an
used to
eye
sit
for
right
that.
out by the lake.
Yeah, it used to be by the lagoon.
the
Now it's
lake.
in the bazaar.
But every
so-
time we would go by, it's like a constant. Like, go ahead, Mom, go get your tattoo. Go get your
No,
tattoo.
we should do it. So I have real tattoos. I have 5 actual
You're right.
tattoos.
I
The henna
don't have-
tattoos are
I
very
don't have
different though,
any
of course.
tattoos.
There's also certain religious aspects to henna tattoos depending upon how you get them. But we should get them. I think next time we'll both get maybe like a little small henna tattoo or something. I think that would be fun. So all right, next time we're getting hennas. This is it.
Okay.
We're saying this on the podcast now. We're going in December, just in time for winter when
So,
we can't see
for
anyone's
Christmas.
skin.
Yes, we'll get it for Christmas.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get a Christmas themed henna
Yes,
tattoo.
but
Which would be
but
kind of
yes, but that
weird,
was my
but-
memory. Is every time we go past Morocco, is that we talk about henna tattoos.
I feel like my memory is really just when I need my cat Morocco, if I'm being
Oh,
honest, which
okay.
just had nothing to do with the pavilion. I know
Yes.
if you watch my vlogs, every time I go past the pavilion, I always say it's like, oh, my cat's named
Maybe
this
I have to-
pavilion.
yes.
But I just do. Obviously, I love my cat very much. I did adopt her. And I do feel like she looks like a Morocco, if I'm
Yeah,
being really
the name
honest.
fits her.
Yeah, it's because she's a tortoiseshell. So
Mm-hmm.
tortoiseshell cats are usually black based, but they have a lot of different shades of brown on them.
Brown
Like if
and
someone asks me what
orange
color
and-
she
yeah.
is, she's brown, but she's many different shades of brown, orange, and black. So it's like all these different colorings that kind of are like the desert at night. So it's kind of like the nighttime desert.
Right.
I mean, like I think torties are so cute. I think they're all really pretty. But torties do come with little tortitudes.
Oh
what they
God,
call
and
it.
she has tortitude.
Yeah, all torties are known for the little attitudes, and she definitely has big attitudes.
Big attitude.
But I do love her
Little
very much,
body,
though.
big attitude.
But yeah, as of recording this, we're recording this right now on August 23rd. But yesterday, August 22nd, was the day I first met her in the shelter. So I, like the foster mom, like the person taking care of her, brought her to the shelter so I could meet her. We met in this little room. And I remember holding her and I took a little photo with her. And I says, like, are you going to be my Morocco? Because I had already picked the name out for the cat I was going to get was Morocco. And I was looking for my Morocco. And so I remember picking up and looking at her little face being like, you're going to be my Morocco. She just looked at me. And yeah, then a few weeks later, she was my cat. And I've had her ever since. Yeah, she was 3 months old when I adopted her. And now she's 4. My little baby cat. So that is my Disney memory. But yeah, anything else you want to add for this podcast?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much, everyone, for listening. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are currently Spaceship Earth Design everywhere, and I will also have that linked in the description below. Make sure to give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are currently listening. If it's on YouTube, leave a comment below, or make sure to like this video. And also let us know what you think of the Moroccan Pavilion. Is it one of your faves? Is it one that maybe you skip over because you don't really like Mediterranean food? Or you're just kind of trying to rush to get to your favorite pavilion or something like that? Or is it always a must walk into, must do, must take photos of every time you go to Epcot? I would love to hear because, again, the World Showcase is my favorite area in general of all of Disney World, and specifically for the pavilions, Morocco is one of my favorite ones, though. And I promise we're not going to save my least favorite for last. I will mix them in eventually. I know I'm starting out with all my faves at first, but it's hard not to do your favorites at first, though.
Right.
So I'll be able to let us know, though. I will have a dedicated Instagram post on our Instagram, Spaceship Earth Design. Or again, if you're on YouTube, just leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think of Morocco. So yeah, thanks so much for listening, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you all real soon.